I lived in the house on the corner of Kane Street and Strong Place and moved in 1997. It has a fantastically high, sharply spiked fence all the way around this corner property. And it made the whole thing seem very dangerous and evil. And I focused on it when I walked around near the house. And suddenly from I have no idea where, I had the idea of impaling pumpkins on the fence. In the beginning, this was going to be a kind of modest neighborhood public art project. So I carved something like 30 the first year and impaled them. And I think I didn't realize when I started that really the whole interest that develops in this project is how fantastically interesting they look when they rot. They make themselves into images expressing emotion that I myself would not have the skill to do initially. The way that they devolve into more bizarre facial expressions depends always on time, and that's consistent, and then differently based on the weather pattern. Hi. Did I see you just putting up a pumpkin?
Yeah, we just put one up.
Great, thank you. People were interested in it from the very beginning. That neighborhood, Cobble Hill in Brooklyn, has been a center of trick-or-treating for many, many years before I got there. And Strong Place was sort of an epicenter. There were people who made a haunted house on the block and invited people in and had actors jumping out of doors to scare people. So there were a lot of trick-or-treaters going around in that neighborhood even before I started this project. This last year was the 17th time we've done it. And enthusiasm increased every year. And the enthusiasm of the neighbors and the trick-or-treaters increased my enthusiasm. And I got more and more ambitious. And I don't remember exactly what year, but ultimately I started buying 100 pumpkins. And I got my friends and children and grandchildren to help carve. Keep your finger out of the path of the moving blade. That's the deal. Sometimes when I'm carving them, I just take a knife and start and see what's going to happen without drawing at all. And sometimes I ponder it for a long time and draw with some kind of washable marker. And if I'm getting close to the deadline of time to impalement, I allow myself to make the features bigger and bigger so that it's easier and easier to get out the guts. But I try to make them all varied because I want time and nature to have a great varied palette to work with. So for me, that's also a huge part of the thing. And when I like what I've done, it's very exciting. And when I don't like it so much, I comfort myself with the fact that after all, nature is going to take over. And some of the more originally boring ones end up being among the most effective ones after a while. And it's very hard to predict how they're going to rot. The dry ones are a pleasure to get out.
Yeah.
But these slimy, sticky ones are not remotely a pleasure, and they take a long time. At some point, some other people started contributing randomly. People would come along and add pumpkins. And then several years ago, I decided that the community was so interested in it that it should really officially become a community project. And then I started putting up signs on the fence, actively inviting people to contribute, hoping that maybe ultimately we could fill all 274, and we did last year. All right, have a good day.
Impaled?
What?
They're all getting impaled?
They're all getting impaled, but the fence won't be filled this year. The pumpkins have to stay a little separate in order not to get sick. This year I only did 45 pumpkins because they were going to be socially distanced as a symbol of the pandemic. Sorry, no trick-or-treating this year. No candy, I'm sorry. In some absurd way, it's probably my most successful project ever. And I think it's for two reasons. One is that people have a pre-existing connection to Halloween and to carving pumpkins. I mean, it's a popular craft. And trick-or-treating is a social event. So it's making use of pre-existing interest and pre-existing craft. It's been incredibly satisfying because people love it. And what could be better than that?